Good morning. Okay, it's about 6 a.m. here in Sydney. A very exciting Crazy House World Championship match for the candidates. This is going to be opperwezen versus Fumitoks. This is Fumitoks' first match into the candidates. I think this is actually quite a critical match. I'm on a 3-minute stream delay. I've kicked off just a couple minutes earlier than the play begins. I'm actually going to take just a little bit of time to go through the current standings. So a little bit difficult to fit it all in here, but let's just go through. So we've got Fumitoks now about to kick off his campaign. Let's see if I can just fit this in. Whoops. You'll see Fumitoks actually is just blank at the moment. At the bottom here. So he's about to get started. But what's critical is what the scores are so far. And we've got the many have considered the favorite is opperwezen, who is on 7 out of 7. We'll just make sure we can all see that. We've got Opper here, 7 out of 7. And because he hasn't lost a game, people are considering him the favorite. The other two very close contenders, though, are 12 Teen, who was last year's finalist and runner-up, on 7 out of 9, and GSVC on 7.5 out of 9. Now, I think there's a lot to be said for matches that are being completed, because anything can happen. So this is critical because it's Fumitoks' first game. He's the only other undefeated player aside from opperwezen. The styles will be very interesting, and in terms of the tournament, it's also going to be critical what happens here. So, wow. Fumitoks e4, bishop c4, c3, and I don't think I've seen this before, this move order. So, straight out there with queen b3. Fumitoks is the original player who started out queen h5 on move 2. It should be fun and interesting to see if he's got some new opening ideas. This is already very original, so I'm expecting both players are already out of book here. So Fumitoks being true to his novel style in the opening. So let's see where this goes. Now knight a5 looks kind of interesting. I mean, knight a5 is basically calling for bishop takes f7 or retreat. And I dare say if knight a5 is played, Fumitoks will probably take on f7. Takes knight f3, but it's more useful for white to do so if black's removed the knight from the defense of the e5 pawn. So opperwezen playing h6. Now this queen is that misplaced. This is really going to be interesting. You have a look at the clocks. You can tell opperwezen's out of book because he's lower than Fumitoks. Okay, is in. He says he streams Joanna vs Blitz Bullet. Nice job. Okay, I know it's not easy for you to stream. I only just saw the result, by the way. Joanna vs Blitz Bullet, I believe, was 5-all. Yeah, we missed a close one there on this channel, but if you wanted to see that, go check out OK's Crazy House. So, look at this development. Bishop takes h6, looking for pawn at g5, regardless of which one takes. I like white here. I love the originality from Fumitoks. This is going to be hard if he gets the knight. So he's not allowed him to take the knight. Knight at d5 would be pretty ugly. I think Fumitoks will be happy with what he got out of this opening. Um, Now, if knight takes, there's rook at h7 maybe. Yeah. Um, Now, if white can execute this in the right order, you want to undermine this defender on f7 and somehow bring in the sack and knight at g5. Yeah, I think this first game is going to be really critical for momentum. Yeah, here we go. Alright, Smash is in the house. So we've got a few viewers coming in. Queen f8. Ooh, okay, this is looking dangerous. Takes, yeah. Bishop takes f7. I mean, Fumitoks isn't even thinking about this, because if takes, king takes, knight at g5, it's all over. So here, even pawn at g5, and white is up a whole pawn with no attack problems. Okay, he just decided he'll take g6. So now white is up 2 pawns. I was considering pawn at g5 for a bit more safety, but maybe there's a good reason for this order. King takes. Fumitoks up on material, up on time with a new creative opening. Bishop at h4 or bishop at g5, either is good. Maybe bishop at h4 wasn't getting hit though. Yeah, he could have gone to h4. Okay, he's decided. I mean, it's good to defend with. Now, is he going to part with the queen? He is. Okay, he parts with the queen. And this is where, yeah, I kind of, maybe I'm preferring the bishop on h4, but I guess he's stopping queen h6 check. Okay, now bishop takes b3 is a threat here. You might consider that. The trouble is there could be some kind of sack on f3. For example, d takes e6, queen takes f3, g takes, rook at e2 check, knight at f4 looks deadly. King d2, queen at e2, king c1, knight takes d3, king b1, queen takes b2. If the king runs this way, pawn at g2, that looks like it's really dangerous. Yeah. Now Fumitoks burning a little bit of time on the clock. He doesn't have to take this. He could play something like bishop at e3. And bishop at e3 would at least allow him to capture on g5 or capture knight takes g5 because the bishop is defending f2. It's still very solid back here. Ooh, no, we have a problem. Yeah, there's rook at c2 check, knight at b4. He might be surviving that one though. Okay, g4, preserving the pawn, so opperwezen playing for every piece. e6 is on. Is rook at e2 viable? Probably not. Pawn at f3, you can run the king back. Whoa, a queen sack. Okay, he's decided he's going to cover g5, but queen at e8 is mate. Ooh, takes, rook at c2, takes, knight at b4. This is sharp, guys. That has to be taken. Knight at b4. You should take that first, pick up that extra knight. And then, ooh, could he have run up? Wow. It's close. Knight takes d3. King runs out to h4. This looks convincing from black, but it's actually just quick moves. Okay, he sacked his queen here. I don't think he's got enough steam. Fumitoks is going to take it. The knight defends from rook at h3. Wow, Fumitoks, what a match. First game. Interesting opening. Middle game was fiery, and we had a flurry of a mating attempt from opperwezen. Now, Yasser Sirwan has just joined the channel. Welcome, LJH Chess. Also here. Now, Yasser, I actually just asked him, I only gave him 9 minutes notice before this started. I was saying, could he join? But he's got, I believe there's guests over, and he's got a soccer match, so he's not joining me on the commentary, but he will join in the chat today. So this opening, d4 with a d6, this is an idea that has been around for a long time. In fact, I will give credit to Bugzilla for creating this opening idea. Ooh, you're probably looking like somewhere in the ages of 10 years ago. The idea is that you get bishop f5 and knight f6 to control the e4 square, but instead of normally pushing this pawn to d5, you just hold it to d6, which allows black to control e5 as well as e4. Okay, but never mind all of that, because opperwezen has just broken it, the light squares. But this is huge. Fumitoks has taken the first match in a first game in very tactical circumstances, doing it with a new original opening. So let's see where we go here. Pawn at e6 looks rather annoying. Opperwezen with the time advantage this game. Knight at a5. Okay, so seeking to undermine this bishop, and I think that's a reasonable priority. Pawn at e6. I think that should be taken. Wow, Fumitoks not afraid to call the bluff. d5, king f7, bishop at e6, king g7, rook at f7, king h8. Looks like it would hold. I'm with Fumitoks on capturing e6, given how risky it looks. But bishop at b3, bishop at c4 are covered, and that's a critical pawn that could change the balance. I think e4 could be a move as well. Rook at g7, so he's decided he's going to cut off the king. Strong move. I feel like knight f8 is in order here. We need to give the king room to run. Hard to say if rook at g7 or e4 was stronger. The move just before. d5. I don't like this move as much as knight f8. There is bishop at f7 check. You're running sideways, and there's going to be a cleanup of some material here. He's gone for d5. So opperwezen's plan is simple. He's going to try to trade material because it favors him. Rook takes g6 is check, but you'd be able to save the knight. Now he's looking at taking material with check. Maybe bishop takes d5, knight at f4, queen f3. LJH just says, at Johnny Crazy House, is it fun if the Discord channel has a John Lee emote? Does that mean that like there's an emote of my face or something on Discord? If that's the case, that's fine. Unless I misunderstood, I don't mind that. Now opperwezen, there we have it. He very nicely finished that one off. Yeah, maybe rook at g7 was too strong against king takes e6, but I just felt knight f8 was required instead of d5. He was obviously concerned about white playing d5, but yeah, I think it was just about getting the king backwards and not leaving the king in the open. Also, knight f8 was defending the pawn on g6. But anyway, c3, bishop c5, wow, d4, okay, we're still in original territory. Now, if ed, it opens up things like queen h5. So I've never seen this stuff before. I got to work it out. So do the players. Now, would you take f7 first, or would you go straight to h5? That's the question. And GSVC in the commentary saying, I wonder if Fumitoks prepared this c3. Possibly he did. If I were Fumitoks coming into this first match of the candidates and up against the likes of opperwezen, I would be thinking, what can I prepare that's going to be so original that he's definitely not going to know it? And that's what he's come out with today. So now, bishop takes d4. That's interesting. He's avoided ed because of queen h5, I expect. And now he's sacked the bishop. He's got the knight here. Now Fumitoks is good at finding aggressive moves. So pawn at c2 is obviously a threat. You could play knight c3, but he's actually going bishop at b3 to start up with some pressure. Pawn at e6. I think that's required, but I'm not really a fan of this bishop takes d4 piece sack. I just don't think black is getting what he wants out of the position. Okay. Right. Yasa in the chat saying Holland scores against Germany. Big soccer match here. Alright. Like the pawn on e6 here is just inevitably going to block the bishop on c8, and I think it was required by the time we've put a bishop here. So I like white. White's got some natural moves to go forward with. So okay, black playing for d5, that makes sense. So knight c3 runs into pawn at d4. What to do here is white. Wow, rook takes a7. Okay, he's just picking off the pawn there. I don't have a problem with that. Although rook at a1, pawn at a2 could be annoying. What's your answer to rook at a1? No, he's just gone straight for pawn at a2. So knight c3, bishop at b4. Opperwezen is not just going to invest in a pawn for nothing. He's going to try to make it count. The question is, even if you should come to d2 so you don't run into bishop at b4, you can play pawn at c3. Alright. He's gone for the knight c3. Wow, bishop at c2, what's that? He's looking at a1 queen and rook at b1. So I think you should have to take c2, but after a1 queen, you pick up a7. Now Fumitoks might be creative in the opening, but doesn't matter if you get opperwezen lost, he's going to be creative in the game. Knight b5 though, surely. Hit the queen, and knight at d6, or pawn at d6 would be on offer. Bishop at h4 played, so he's looking for a bit of extra security on f2, maybe a bit more pressure here. Bishop at h4, completely reasonable. Maybe if knight b5, there's just queen a5 check anyway, and because this is actually a counterfeit queen, you're just happy to get rid of the knight. Okay, rook at g4, pawn at g3. So bishop in hand, he's probably looking down this diagonal. And black's happy to sack here because he's not really sacking when he brings the queen in. That's a real queen for a fake queen. I mean, you've got knight h3, rook at f3. I think you've got to cover f2 somehow. But at this time, I'm thinking knight b5 is looking more attractive than bishop at h4. Fumitoks down at 23 seconds. Okay, defends with knight at h3. I think he was concerned about bishop at g4. So, look, opperwezen has found some nice tactics with on a2. Now he's looking to press. So knight at e3. Yeah, this is still a dogfight. There's still plenty of life in the position. Now knight takes d1, a nice move, preventing pawn at e3 or rook at e3. Alright, Chronic Sunshine has donated another $6. Thank you so much, Chronic Sunshine. Now a reminder, we have a target of $1,111. That's a candidates appreciation fund, which would go to the candidates directly. $101 per candidate for them finishing all their matches. This is a dynamic game, but balanced. I think knight takes f2 looks interesting. If king takes pawn at f4, if queen takes, you'd have queen takes e3, takes knight at c2. The rook goes on first. Surely knight takes f2. No, he's concerned about f8. So Fumitoks looking for the counter. Bishop d2. I don't like pawn at c5. It just blocks off black's play. I like white here. I don't like pawn at c5. I was preferring knight takes f2, king takes, pawn at f4 potentially. But look, the board's shifting and changing faster than I can run all of the lines. Knight at f6 here. I'm still feeling white's got it. This queen got locked out of c5, and that's just what I'm seeing here. Pawn at f6. No, he's giving it. Okay, wow. Like Fumitoks is seeing the board pretty quickly and cleanly. He's got lots of defense around the king. So he's on the attack here. Opperwezen with room to run. Still a live game. We're 35 moves in. Queen at e4 check. Oh, he's picking off a few pieces here. Knight at c2. They are both playing very quickly. Knight takes f5 would pick off a queen. He got the queen here. This looks good for white. Queen in hand. Now Opperwezen heading for the hills. What a game. Oh, Fumitoks in control. Now the rook's still defending from possible mate. Okay, the queen can't be taken because the pawn at b5. What a game. What a game. Now this queen has fallen. Queen at a5 to finish. Wow, Fumitoks. Now in the critical stages, that's the second game we've seen come right down to the wire. 2-1. Fumitoks is here to play, guys. This is an inspiring match. Okay, Opperwezen switching to knight f3, knight c3, e3. I wouldn't go passive against Fumitoks. Wow, Fumitoks, no fear at all. Just going in the time scramble through all the tactical plays. Just committing. That was crazy. Okay. So what happened then? Knight. I wasn't expecting that. Knight takes e5. Okay. Knight d7. So e5 is not an easy one to defend. What do you do against knight at c6? You have to take the bishop. Okay, that's a nice move. Fumitoks is claiming he's a pawn up. Now, yeah, if Fumitoks is going to ride on some confidence, it's right about now. These games are actually really critical. It's early, but it's 2-1. If you can win with black, you're pushing hard. Odd Slinger Max donated $25. Thank you so much. The candidates are really appreciating all the donations. We're up to $542. We're nearly at that 50% mark. We've got 16 days to go on the target. Wow, the support from the community has been just amazing. Here I like pawn at f4. You don't have to worry about the knight on d4 because the knight at f3. Pawn at f4 is saying, well, you've got to give up your queen. Pawn at f3. Wow, it could be even stronger. So queen takes d4, f takes g2, knight f3 is on. Knight at g2 is on from this. This is good for black. Fumitoks is just... he's taking no prisoners today, guys. Wow, I would have considered taking with the other knight to open up the d file. But Fumitoks has been on the ball here. Look at this. So he's got a queen and a pawn for a piece. Queen at g4. Yeah, queen takes f3, king d2. No, he's taking with the knight. Now, this is nice because the white can't hit this queen. Knight at a6. He's looking for knight at c7. You could just play rook c8. But Fumitoks taking no prisoners. He's gonna play for all the activity. Can't recapture the bishop on a8, so I assume he's gonna go for something like d4 or pawn at g2. More aggressive. Let me tell you, in some of these matches I've commentated, like opperwezen was seeing the board really clearly, but I gotta say today I feel like Fumitoks is seeing the board just as clear as opperwezen was in those matches. I think g1 queen pretty much works. Takes, knight f3 check, king e2 is forced, knight at d4. Oh, this is gutsy from opperwezen. He reckons he can take him on. Knight f3, king e2. Can he defend that? Knight at d4 check. If takes, rook at d2, king e3. Is it rook takes f2 or queen takes e3? Maybe queen takes e3, king f4. Then you'd have pawn at g5. So knight at d4, bishop takes, rook at d2 is mating. So knight at d4, king d3 forced. A pawn would mate. I just think knight at d4, king d3, maybe... Do you have... Is just queen takes g4 good enough there? Or do you have to like play for knight e5, takes rook at c4, queen f6 would mate, knight at d4, oh, he didn't do it. Knight at d4 is strong, but queen takes g4 also very good. You've got your threatening double check. But these are so critical, these positions. If you've got mate, you've got to take it. Knight at d4 is still very strong here. Okay. I just thought if you change the move order with the knight there first, you make the king come to d3 before playing queen takes g4. That could be critical. But Fumitoks looks like he's got something. A bishop at e2, so he's blocked off. This is intricate here. He's blocked off the rook's defense to g1 before playing bishop at e2. Rook takes g1, and it's game over. Fumitoks up 3-1, 3-1. Now this is amazing stuff. Fumitoks is up 3-1. He's got the momentum. He is pushing the candidate's favorite opperwezen in his first match in the candidates. We're going down this opening again. I don't like it for black. Fumitoks fan donated $30. Oh wow, the donations are huge today. We had about $125 in donations last stream. This stream, we're already up to. I'll give you the tally in just a second. We're up to $61 already. While we were offline, Pethadine also donated $11. Okay, bishop at b3. He's on pawn at e6, knight f3. Look, yeah, I mean, this is great entertainment, guys. You know, it's no wonder we've got some donations from the community. I think, you know, it's great that people can donate directly to those that are really responsible for the great content, which is the players. No ads, just straight appreciation to the players. I'm going to read out some of the comments here. So we had from previous stream, Hercules donated $9. He said, if Richie Beno were here, he would say, and that's the 500 up. I don't know I understand that well enough, but I'll take it Hercules knows Richie Beno quotes better than myself. Pethadine says, hey Justin, no need for a call out, but thanks to the players, yourself and the other streamers for the entertainment. It's slowly making me a better player. Slowly, says Pethadine. So meanwhile in the game, we've got nice development from white here. Black a little blocked in. I mean, wow, like it just looks so good for white. Fumitoks, e4, bishop c4, c3. He's playing for the third time. This is an original opening. Okay, I've got Oddslinger Max donated $25. Says, I think I can speak for the whole community when I say we're fantastically lucky to have a world champion who is so professional, well-spoken, and committed to the game. I am inspired by you both in Crazy House and in life as well. Thank you for everything. Wow, that is a generous compliment. Thank you so much. Oddslinger Max has donated $25 to the candidates. Much appreciated by the candidates. Last one, so Fumitoks fan, glad to see Fumitoks playing in the candidates. Good luck everyone. Well, guys, at the moment, if you're just joining, Fumitoks is playing his first match. I mean, I've been saying, you know, for quite some time, you know, we've been wanting him to play, and I'm really glad he's here now. And look, he's up 3-1 against opperwezen, so you know, he's showing his mettle here so far. I feel like b5 was just an oversight from Fumitoks here. I think maybe instead of f3, he should be playing a4. Just to stop black. I mean, black didn't really have anything to play for, and it's that critical if black can get just one pawn to start rolling on some weaknesses. You know, opperwezen looks for these small opening gaps. Now the material's in favor of black by one pawn, and the dark squares are weak. And you know, this battery of bishops is undermined. So let's see how Fumitoks goes here. I think allowing b5 could have been critical here. You've got opperwezen on the ropes. You've got a nice position, and yeah, the momentum is so important here, because as strong as both players are, and as good as they are to just treat each game independently, based on how closely contested the matches have been in terms of time and tactics at the end of this, for sure, you know, psychology is running through their head just as much as rational thought. I don't know if this is going to be enough to save white, this initiative. I think black's got a nice battery of material, but opperwezen deciding he'll cover at home, bishop at e3 or bishop at g3, probably not good enough. Yeah, I'm disappointed that b5 was allowed. You can see how it's just changed the shape of the game. Okay, rook at h3, bishop takes e1. So knight at e2, now a mate threat. There's not enough there, I don't think. Okay, Nelson Moore subscribed with a tier 1 subscription. Thank you, Nelson Moore. Shout out to Nelson Moore, who himself put up $500 earlier this year for a slow variance Crazy House event. It was 5+5. Great to have your support. Knight takes e1. This is going to be over if knight at e2 gets in. Queen at e3. That wraps it up. Can you sack bishop at e3 or knight at d3? I mean, yeah, opperwezen's very comfortable here. You're never getting checkmate on opperwezen for the rest of the game. But it was just allowing b5. That was it. It's actually that critical that you had to hold on to each and every pawn. But opperwezen showing his mettle, staying with the pace. I mean, if Fumitoks pushed the 4-1 there, which it really looked like he might do from the opening, yeah, you'd have to be worried for opperwezen, and that would really open up the tournament, not just because of the current leaders, but Fumitoks has a clean sheet as well. So he's still up 3-2. If you count it that in tennis terms that white is serving each game, then we're on serve at the moment, and that Fumitoks is up 3-2. He won a game with black, but then lost one with white. So this is also interesting from opperwezen. It's quite original. d3 and e4 quite early. Opperwezen looking to make impact. Now ed doesn't quite work because the knight takes d5. So there's a pawn hanging here, and opperwezen's not afraid to lose it. Oh boy. I mean, opperwezen did very well and was very resourceful to find moves with black the last game. But gosh, if Fumitoks pushed the 4-1. Okay. Let's see. No, I was thinking if he was going to go for this, but you know, I was even thinking if black should just castle to avoid any danger. But a6, contesting the knight, attacking c7. Ooh, does this work? Knight takes? Knight takes. Okay, if rook takes, you can take with the knight. Bishop takes c7. Has he missed that the knight's defending the rook? I feel that was a miss from opperwezen. You know, black's a piece up here. e5, okay, keeping a straight face, looking at d6. I mean, it's probably okay for white. And then knight d7, bishop at d6 is pretty ugly. I think black has to consider giving this knight back. But even then, black's still a pawn up. I'd even consider pawn at e7. No, castles. Alright, interesting. Takes, and he's not worried about knight at h6 because the king moves across. This is a great match, guys. Tactically, strategically, both players firing really well today. Pawn at d6, nice. So, before thinking about taking this one, he is looking at weakening this square. I'm even thinking knight h5 here, just to keep the black squares under control. Give up the queen. It's probably too much, but queen d8, bishop at e7 is no better. Queen d7 takes. I don't know if there's some kind of knight at e7, bishop at h6 kind of idea. You might be okay. Queen d7, you might have to be bold and see if you can hold it. This is critical here. I think opperwezen has done well enough with his initiative to get something back from it. Okay, so queen takes d6. Black decides it's too hot to allow f6 to be captured. Bishop at h6. What is that doing? He's just defending. Pawn at e7 is what white wants, so he's looking for another pawn. I just thought maybe does he need something like knight at f4, a move earlier. Yeah, I think white's got too much with the queen. Pawn at h3, he's looking to attack quickly. I think that's necessary, but okay. Opperwezen opting to just go for safety. He's now got the pawn in hand to put on e7. Rook at g4, direct. Rook at g3, direct defense as well. I just see opperwezen getting pawn at e7 in, and opperwezen is coming back. The opperwezen train, if he can get to 3-all, you know, the momentum switching there. Pawn at e7. Okay, this is going to be tough. You know, if pawn h3, if he took it, knight at f4 was on the cards, but here he can't even take the queen because it takes bishop at e7. Doesn't matter where the king goes. There's going to be mate with either rook at d8 or rook at f8. If you move the rook, then rook takes g4. So he has to defend with knight d7. But now all the attack is gone for black. Oh, very nice from opperwezen. He's got the time, he's got the position. But that game before, I just felt that Fumitoks could have really turned the screws if he didn't let opperwezen out of that bind. Okay, we're going to see it again. e4, bishop c4, c3. Now, I think bishop c5, d4, this bishop sack line is good for white, and I think Fumitoks is right to go into it again. Bishop at b3, pawn at e6. I'm happy if I'm white there. You could play knight c3 to deviate here. It's also good. Okay, this is tight, guys. This is good viewing. 3-all. Now we're up to $572 on the Candidates Appreciation Fund. We have smashed through the 50% mark. Wow, a huge total of donations just in this stream and the last stream. We've had about I'll try to count it up quickly here. I'm counting 186. It's about $197. That's nearly $200 just flowed in the last 24 hours in the last couple of streams. The support is much appreciated. So, Fumitoks already going for a new original movement. He tried knight f3 before. This time it's queen g4. Bishop g5, queen g6. Now, the thing is here, I mean, Fumitoks is taking a bit longer in the opening. I don't think he should do that too much because it's been working well for him where he's just put the pressure on. h5 here, you got to be careful. Knight h3 could fall into some kind of knight b3 and bishop at g4. Okay, d5 because you can't take d5 now because the queen's on g4. I just feel if you play queen g4, the follow-up isn't knight h3. He's put two pieces on this diagonal which now prevent him from being able to take on d5. Oh dear, I think and this is what I'm talking about, the psychology and the momentum. I just feel game 5 was so critical for both players. But this is what it's like playing against opperwezen. You can get him on skates and put him in unfamiliar territory, even take a few games off him, and he's still there. That's the quality of the player. Pawn at f3 is looking kind of ugly at some stage. Pawn at f3, queen takes f3. I mean, you could be bold and take g7. I mean, White's just kind of lost the piece back and not really got compensation for it. Opperwezen will punish you for this. Jeez, he's just turned it on Fumitoks. This looks already very convincing for black. But it's just a bit of a loose game, putting the queen here and the knight here, and allowing black to play d5. That's what looks so good for black. Yeah, you're clutching at some straws here, but this is a good move. If takes, Fumitoks just has to fight for his life here. You can't take it though, because you trade the queen, so you're going to lose the queen. Bishop at f3 takes. Yeah, this is just getting uglier by the minute. Queen g3, h4. That's all over Red Rover. That's game. Ah, that's sad for Fumitoks. Wow, opperwezen moves to 4-3. Come on, g3 now. Both of them throwing in original openings. Okay, it's gonna go down a path. Opper was down 3-1. He's back up 4-3. Amazing here. Wow, Fumitoks just came out of the blocks like lightning. Alright, Clearcast says this is the best opening ever. I think Clearcast likes this one. Clearcast has played a lot of this in the candidates. I've covered some of the matches. We had some very nice looking matches where there was some really nice thematic play where knight takes d5 came in. Wow, maybe opperwezen's seen some of it. He didn't hesitate at all. You can take it. Is it taking with the queen? What's the idea? Pawn at h3. So Fishy Vishy saying the ZH Catalan. Alright. So pawn at h6 is I don't know. Pawn takes. I think if knight takes e5, then you can threaten a trade queens. This just looks like White's going to get a dynamic game where he's going to be very safe for the whole time, but he's going to have a little bit of a look in on dark squares, and black's just going to be defending for most of the game. But I think the way to play this as black is you've got to call all the bluffs, and you've got to just keep taking pieces. I think it's g takes, knight takes e5, queen takes d5, pawn at d6, and you just hang on for dear life. You might get pawn at g7 takes, queen takes b7, the rook is on, then you have to play knight at g6. But if you don't contest this pawn on e5, then f6 is going to hit. So I think you've got to go for this. You could even maybe rook e8. Okay, I was thinking knight takes. Is there some kind of pawn at h2? Because you'd have knight at g4 check, king h1 takes. Maybe it's hard. Okay, knight at g7. We don't normally see a knight there, but here we've got a fork on the rook and the bishop. I'm not a fan of rook e8. I feel that you're okay if White takes this rook. I really feel like Fumitoks was playing with a lot more confidence in the first 4 games, and just a small oversight in the 5th game has kind of taken the wind out of his sails. But okay, e5 is now on. I think it's fine that he put a new knight there, but we've got to address this now. And it's so hard to counterattack against this structure. I'm looking at knight at g4 here. I think you've got to be a bit modest as black and probably give a little bit back. It's probably giving too much back though. Yeah. It's still a game. It's still a game. Now this is really critical for Fumitoks because if he wins, he's still got a chance to win 6-4. If he loses, opperwezen secures half a point. This is good though. There's still plenty to play for. Wow, he sacked on e5. No, that's rook at h8. Oh, you got to take the queen, man. Why didn't he take the queen? Oh dear. Wow, opperwezen just stole that from right in front of his nose. I mean, you put the knight on g4, so you're still covering the knight on e5. I think black was okay with knight takes e5. Knight g takes e5. Alright, now opperwezen stuck with this. Opper is now on 5-3. He's secured half a point. I mean, that was amazing. I really thought Fumitoks was going to run away with this match. And I think in the 5th game, if Fumitoks won and went to 4-1, it'd be pretty hard for Opper to come back from that. But yeah, Fumitoks definitely deserving his position to play here. He's put opperwezen on into tough circumstances. So I liked what he got out of this queen takes f3 opening. Now where did he go last time? Bishop g5, that makes sense. You just can't allow black to get d5 in, because then black should just be worse. So queen d1 would be okay. You could even go queen d3. Alright, just don't overthink this situation. Even if Fumitoks can pull half a point from opperwezen, that'll open up the event just slightly. Opperwezen has a few more matches to complete. But yeah, so far credit to opperwezen for stopping the blood loss and coming back to 5-3. That's been amazing. Pawn at g5, bishop g3. So we saw something like this before. Can black get d5 in that way? So it must be what he's thinking about. Pawn at g5, bishop g3, d5, ed takes. There's enough coverage. Unless... okay, he hasn't done it. He's castled first. Knight d2. I guess pawn at g5, bishop g3, d5. Maybe he's concerned about bishop takes e5. Now I feel like Fumitoks has also, steadied himself a bit here. He'll see b5 coming this time. I don't think he should be too concerned about just castling. That's nice and sensible. Pawn at g5, bishop g3. I mean, we'll see bishop d7, but I expect this time he'll play a4 to stop b5 when the time comes. Okay, this looks good for white. And opperwezen's being very resourceful with where he's put this pawn, and he's finding ways to progress. So white doesn't have a clean break here. This f3 move I'm not sure about. I don't know. It just, you don't really need more coverage on light squares. You actually need to keep the balance. So knight h5. This is all about strategic maneuvering. Okay, can opperwezen take this one to maintain his perfect score? Okay, knight f4, nice. Queen back to f1. But look, opperwezen is pushed out a bit. Alright, a4 this time. Surely, yes. Okay, he is preventing b5. But, you know, black's got nice control here. I mean, there's not really a clear entry point for white. b5 is still possible, but if you're white, you're here looking for some kind of option where if a pawn is traded off, you still don't mind. a5, is he going to play queen d8, try to pick this pawn off? No, he's going to trade it. Okay, well that's a bit of bit of an opening. If you take here, takes knight at g6 is deadly. So that's what Fumitoks is looking for. This is good play from both. Fumitoks has really consolidated his king side and he's thrown in a little poison pawn there. But opperwezen alert to it. Okay, Fumitoks is going all in with knight at g6. That's what he's seeing. He's seeing takes. I don't even know if, yeah, he's probably going to take this one, but after takes, knight at g6, takes. White's the one making ground first with mate threats. Okay, this one was taken, knight at g6. Here we go. Fumitoks slightly ahead on the clock. Takes. I like how Fumitoks has played here. He's found a way to make ground faster than his opponent. And now knight at f5 could be on the cards as well. You don't want to give this rook away and leave your back rank at risk. So knight at f6 is looking like it might be necessary. You could take here, but you're close to getting mated, I think. Pawn h7, king h8, rook at g8, takes. Alright, he's decided he's got to cover h7. Knight at f5 looks natural. Also, this could be an attacking piece. Knight at h3. Opperwezen could be trying to sneak in here. I agree with knight at f5. Alright, Fumitoks is going to put some pressure on the clock as well. This is exciting. It's not over yet. Okay. Takes. That's good play. He's liquidated the knight on g7 as a priority to ensure there's no bishop takes f1, knight at h3 ideas. Now pawn at g6 is what you want. So he's got another pawn in hand. He's going to keep going. And opperwezen's having to defend with the king aggressively, but I think this is going to be trouble. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I've been... Oh, okay. Hang on, guys. Sorry. I'll be back shortly. Let's just see. Oh, I'm backing Fumitoks to win this one. Guys, I'll be right back. I just gotta listen to something. We've got a noise in the roof. Just gotta check it out. This is a critical match. 4-5. I'll be back shortly. Hey guys, sorry I'm back. I'm back for the critical game. Sorry, I'm just gonna rewind so I can see where it went. E4, D5 played. Queen E6 is the line. Knight B5, defending C7. Wow, he sacked that. So his knight was trapped. Knight traded here, and defending C7 again. So the issue here is if you part with E6, pawn at F7 is going to be ugly. Do you run? Okay, knight at C7. So he's forfeiting pawn on B7. Wow, this is interesting stuff. Opperwezen's been able to clean up a couple pawns. Okay, bishop D5. No, this is bad for Fumitoks. Okay, this is looking bad for black. We've got too much pressure here. I think opperwezen is going to take the critical match 6-4. We'll see if we can turn it around with Fumitoks. Knight at G2 check. Do you run to F1 or D1? If you run to D1, I think you're fine. If Queen takes D4, you just put the rook on D3. Yeah, rook at D3 is tough to deal with. Oh, okay, that was an interesting opening there. I think after knight at C5, knight at C7 allowing bishop takes B7 was too much. I wonder if black had to take on A6 and bite the bullet, pawn at F7, king D7. We'll stay with the live action just for now. Okay, queen takes D3. Yeah, this queen at C8. Surely there's a takedown here. Knight takes D8. It's good enough. Pawn at C2. He's got to make sure nothing hits you this side. Okay, he's gone for E6 instead. Pawn at F7. Yeah, there should be mate here. Knight back to C5. King D6. Knight at B7. King has to run up. Queen at G5. Pawn at F4. Yeah, there'll be you wrap up the king that way. Okay, he's gone this side though. Ah, nice. There's queen at A8 and pawn at B7. Wow, opperwezen maintains his perfect score, but Fumitoks took it to him. That is 6-4. Opperwezen, congratulations opperwezen. He now moves to 8 out of 8. Wow, I was really worried for opperwezen when Fumitoks went up 3-1. That would have been very exciting. Fumitoks was nearly able to completely open up the event. But look, hats off to Fumitoks for putting up a fantastic fight there. Really looking forward to more of his matches in the candidates. He definitely deserves to play. Just so happy he gets to play the event that he so deserves to play in, because we all know he was pretty much saying he was withdrawing before. So very thankful for Fumitoks for coming and participating again. Look, we're about to get started with the Elite Crazy House arena. I'm going to close off the stream just there so that I can turn this one off and then start a live stream of the next event. So I'll be back in about 10 minutes. The tournament is due to start in, yes, just 10 minutes. So there you go, guys. I'm going to be joining this one. I'm going to take a short break. Congratulations to opperwezen. He's still looking like the favorite. He's taking out 8 out of 8. GSVC and 12-10 also need to play against Fumitoks. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. opperwezen's got a couple more matches. Who's left? We're that critical here. We need to see. opperwezen has Blitz, Bullet, and Sexy, and I Know It left to play. Those two just played earlier today. I caught that match on commentary. But that's what's standing in the way between opperwezen and a grand final against myself. So look, I got to say another huge shout out to all those who donated today. We got nearly $200 in the last 24 hours. So candidates really appreciate it. I think look, for being able to spectate, it's well worth contributing. So thank you so much for the support. Okay, someone's querying what was on the roof. Yes, no, my wife just kind of came in the room, said she can't sleep, and unfortunately there is a noise on our roof when it rains really heavily. I don't know if it's a loose tile or something. It's just been going all night. That's not good. We'll figure that out. Okay, all right. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. All right. See you soon, guys.